So we're talking about this zero-day threat vector thing, and actually this was brought up by ADC last week too, in conjunction with the data that I have. TeamViewer is the #1 RDP right now that hackers are exploiting to conduct reconnaissance and steal data, 37% of the time, in fact. The reason for this is that due to political reasons, the TeamViewer management refuses to patch the zero-day vulnerability in their Windows browser past view executable, which is obviously the main executable that people inside of TeamViewer sessions use to pass presenter privileges back and forth between each other. So keep that in mind. #2 on this list, WinDNC, Radmin, AnyDesk, LogMeIn, as an example. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put together a policy to prevent hackers from exploiting TeamViewer. Remember that zero-day threat vector thing we talked about earlier? Okay, that's going to be an important thing to talk to information security guys about. So let's go over here and let's create another group. So we're going to break this down into 2 departments. One for the sales team who really don't have a need to access TeamViewer. We can eliminate a major threat vector very quickly here. So we're going to create one group policy first. And again, this could already be self-populated here because during the initial deployment of the agents, we will be able to pull down their AD groups. We can stay within that designer structure, or we can add a new group, and that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to call TeamViewer sales, and just call it sales block. No big deal. Click OK. And we're probably going to add our users the AD credentials, so we'll do that right now. Click Add. Now we created our group. Now let's go to settings. Now we're going to be creating an application, a blocking policy, a privileged application management, quote-unquote PM, in parentheses, policy here, to block this group's ability to pull up a TeamViewer session. Okay? So let's go in here again, prevent hackers from ever exploiting some of these user credentials, okay, at this device. Let's say one of these guys clicked on an email and clicked on a link and they were targeted a phishing attack. Well, it gives a hacker a great vehicle to be able to commandeer the machine and grab user credentials and start putting monitoring software of his own at this device, where we can then stop this particular threat vector and customize it per organization. Hey, some organizations may not use TeamViewer. They may use LogMeIn. They may use Secure CRT. They may use PuTTY as an example. We can create these on the fly for these organizations, especially these large enterprises. So let's go in here and highlight our group again. And again, we're just going to toggle up these options here. No need to have all this extra data for the specific policy. We're going to record the programs, yes. Documents off, network bandwidth off, cloud tracking off. Login events for the applications, yes. Block websites off. Our camera screenshots off. We're screenshots off. So we're going to block programs out. Specifically, this is a PAM, privileged application management policy here. So once we set this up, they'll still be able to log in with their local admin privileges, but they're going to be blocked from being able to use this application, and they're going to be able to block it out of time too. So we're going to be searching our database right now for TeamViewer. Now we have hundreds of thousands of devices with our agents deployed to them, and every single time an executable is recognized by our agents, it creates a unique system ID that is sent back to our cloud and logged into our database. Okay. And we have a record of every single application that has ever been deployed to any of the target devices for our agents on them. So what that means is there really is never going to be a situation where an application is not going to be recognized by our agents, okay, which thus allows us to create these policies remotely. But again, if there is an application, let's say there's a custom application that was built in the house by the development team for a specific use case, once you run the executable with our agents installed on it, they will recognize the application, create a unique system ID that then we will throw in our database, okay, which allows us to then block this via our agents. So again, the beauty of this is it's cloud focused, okay, and In our particular example here, we found TeamViewer, and now all we have to do for the sales team group is just create a blocking policy based on time. So I'm going to just call this sales TeamViewer block, or I call it TeamViewer 11 block. Let's call it that. Add. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to customize this. We'll probably want to block this during normal business hours, 8:30 a.m. to maybe 6:30 p.m. to allow our IT admin team to get in here in the mornings or in the evenings and on the weekends to do some work, some maintenance work on these devices or terminals. So let's highlight Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's just customize our policy here. Let's go here, 8:30 a.m. all the way up to 6:30 p.m. Okay, add new, highlight. All we have to do is go over to our application we're blocking, that's TeamViewer 11, and just scroll down and just highlight TeamViewer block for sales team, and we're done. So essentially speaking now, we've eliminated a major threat vector for an entire department of users. So if a hacker ever did gain credentials to TeamViewer, they will be blocked via this group policy via AD credentials. Okay, that's very cool. So we've been doing this for years. I mean, it seems to be a buzzword now, this PAM stuff. You know, a lot of companies like Vector as an example. We've been doing this for years. And as you can see, it's very easy to do with our product. So definitely a selling point. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Excellent. This is going to be some really cool secret sauce. Every single time I demo this to InfoSec guys, I could see the wheels turning in their head, okay, on this, because they never thought it could be this easy. Now we're going to create a separate, what's up, can you hear me?
Yep.
Now we're going to create a separate policy here. We're going to call this the TeamViewer IT Admin Monitor Group, okay? So let's then now create a custom group here. We're going to call this TeamViewer IT Admin Monitor. Click OK. And we're probably going to, this time we'll just do this by NetBIOS. Just refresh that real quick, stand by. Okay, highlight that. Now let's go to our settings. And let's go to reporting and blocking. Now let's highlight TeamViewer IT Admin Monitor. Obviously, check our devices, make sure that the appropriate one's in there. Let's start toggling off some options. Emails off, messages off, keystrokes are on, definitely. Explain that again in a second. Website's off, recorded programs on, yes. Printer documents off, network bandwidth's not necessary for this. File tracking is not necessary because we're not creating a file tracking policy. Login events on, yes. The application, duration. Blocking websites are off. Blocking programs is off. Smart camera screenshots on and word screenshots off. So now we've toggled these settings to their appropriate position. Let's now go to Smart Camera Screenshot Settings. So this policy is going to, once a TeamViewer session is deployed, and again, this is going to apply to Secure CRT, PuTTY, any application you want to monitor. Okay, we search our database again. And a second is the searches. I never knew there was a Teach Me Gaelic software application. I don't know who would want to learn Gaelic. You never know. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to make some changes here. So what this application does now, our algorithm actually takes individual screenshots and then the algorithm strings them together similar to a flash movie, if you will. So creating a animation of what's happening inside the application, okay, when our monitoring policy is engaged. So if you were hosting this yourself, I mean, this is a bit of minutiae information we'll say. If you were hosting this for your customers, or if the customer was hosting this, you could toggle that interval back to a second per frame, if you will. Probably 5 seconds is more than enough information. We can customize this. We can take video, if you will, quote unquote. Those animation, they were 30 seconds all the way up to an unlimited amount of time. For bandwidth or data storage purposes, I should say, or both, let's just keep this minimized to 10 minutes. Update the policy, and we're good to go. Okay, very easy to do. Okay, so what we've done now is we've created a IT admin team viewer monitor, which takes animation of what somebody's doing inside the application, and we also pull down their keystrokes as well. So let's show you what that data looks like. Okay, now we've created this policy. Go back to our test drive unit. Let's go to the smart camera module first. So very simply speaking, the InfoSec guys log into this portal. You can take a look at this as much as they want to. Okay, there's a trigger here based on website or application. So let's just go here. So we can sort this by group, obviously. So let's assume that this group right here was our TeamViewer IT admin monitor. So simply speaking, you would pull up the record, but let's just go to one which has a number of different screenshots attached to it. Hold on a second as I scroll down here. Well, you take a look at one of these TeamViewer records in our group. Then simply speaking, hit play. So what you're seeing right now is an animation of what this person is doing inside this application. If this were a hacker, by the way, it commandeered credentials via targeted phishing campaign as an example, and it gained which in the credentials, we would have the video, the animation of what they were doing inside the application. Very cool, but also then we can now go back and take a look at the keystroke activity of that session. And this will be sorted by application, which is very convenient. So if this was TeamViewer, just go down, grab the appropriate record, and if this hacker tried to execute any malicious scripts inside here or tried to exfiltrate data or issue commands, okay, to target assets, we have a record of that data, very easily accessible here. That's very cool. What do you think about that?
Man, that's pretty revealing. I mean, you basically can't not do anything without knowing on that. So
yeah, very revealing, very comprehensive, perfect discussion to have with an InfoSec team about this capability. So just to recap again, we created 2 groups. The monitoring group, a blocking policy for the sales team to prevent them from pulling up TeamViewer, just by eliminating a major threat vector from the zero-day perspective. And to augment our zero-day monitoring capability, okay, to understand who, what, where, and how a potential exploit, we created a TeamViewer monitoring policy that took video for the first 10 minutes of somebody's session in TeamViewer and pulled on their keystrokes as well. So that's a very cool feature set we have.